Hello friends, we are back again with our the lecture series on current affairs. Today we are going to deal with very important topics that are like important from the point of view of prelims as well as mains. ठीक है? For the first topic at hand is UAPA Act 1967. UAPA का full form होता है Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. It was enacted in 1967. ठीक है? This act primarily deals with the unlawful activities. ठीक है? It was basically implemented after Indochina war and in Indo-Pakistan war also, to curb the unlawful activities or to put a curb on the activities that might lead to certain kind of problems within the country. But in 2004, the scope of the act was widened. ठीक है? In 2004, the scope of the act was widened to include terrorist activities as well. क्यों? क्योंकि 2001 में यूएसए में अटैक हुआ, ओके, एंड इसके बाद the world grew very conscious about the kind of terrorism that the world was facing. इसके पहले India was consistently trying to tell the world that India is facing the wrath of terrorism, but there was no acknowledgement of that sort. ठीक है? Because of course in Kashmir, the Kashmir terrorism was at peak. The Kargil war was a result of terrorism from Pakistan. ठीक है? It was a kind of proxy war. बट इंडिया को कोई सीरियसली ले नहीं रहा था. लेकिन आफ्टर 2001 यूएसए में ट्विन टावर्स पे अटैक होने के बाद यूएसए बिकेम वेरी सीरियस अबाउट इट्स वॉर ऑन टेरर. ठीक है? एंड उसके बाद वॉर ऑन टेरर का डॉक्ट्राइन आया, वॉर ऑन टेरर. it was a doctrine propounded by George W. Bush. ठीक है? And he also said that there is an axis of evil, and that axis was Afghanistan, Iran, North Korea. ठीक है? इन कंट्रीज को जॉर्ज डब्ल्यू बुश ने कहा दे आर द कंट्रीज विच आर ऑन द एक्सिस ऑफ इविल. एंड आफ्टर द 2001 अटैक ऑन द ट्विन टावर्स, द वॉर ऑन टेरर गॉट लाइक द पेस और इट स्टार्टेड. एंड उसके बाद बहुत सारे यूनाइटेड नेशंस में भी अमेंडमेंट्स हुए, एंड देयर वाज अ कमिटी फॉर्म फॉर फाइटिंग टेरर. एंड इंडिया में भी 2001 में अटैक हुआ पार्लियामेंट पे. उसके बाद 2004 में इस एक्ट के स्कोप को वाइडन किया गया, क्योंकि प्रिवेंशन ऑफ टेरर एक्ट वाज अलाउड टू लैप्स. ठीक है? देयर वाज एन अनदर एक्ट, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ टेरर एक्ट, पोटा उसको कहते हैं. इट वाज अलाउड टू लैप्स बिकॉज the court found that it was violative of the fundamental freedoms of the citizens. ठीक है? इसके लिए it was allowed to lapse. It was not reenacted. Okay. तो currently, but the aim of implementing this act was to curb the terror activities. But recently, the subsequent changes that have been brought into this act has made the act very very restrictive, in the sense that many activists and advocates also of Supreme Court have advocated that this act should be diluted, or the provisions of this act should be diluted, so that it does not become an act on it does not become an attack on the freedom of speech and the right of dissent of the people. ठीक है? तो the first amendment that was brought in this act was in 2004. 2004 में इस एक्ट के अंदर टेररिज्म को डिफाइन किया गया. ठीक है? एंड टेररिस्ट एक्टिविटीज को डिफाइन करने के लिए सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को एम्पावर किया गया. ओके, तो हम डील करेंगे ओरिजिनल एक्ट ऑफ 1967, एंड फिर 2019 में अमेंडमेंट्स हुए इस एक्ट में, ड्यू टू विच सम पीपल आर सेइंग दैट the rule of law has now descended into the rule of anarchy, in the sense that the law was implemented to establish a rule of law to curb the criminal or unlawful activities, but it has become so draconian in the sense that it is now trying to curb the basic freedoms of the people. Okay, so what are the original provisions? First of all, why is it in news? In the parliament, the Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, in a reply said that there has been a 72% increase in the cases, the number of police cases that the police or NIA or CBI are investigating. The number of cases has increased by 72% in 2019. Okay, in 2019, but the rate of conviction in 2019 was merely 2.2%. Okay, that means the government has been using this law disproportionately. Okay, why? Because there has the use of the act has increased by 72%, but the conviction rate is merely 2.2%. Okay, that makes us think that why is the conviction rate so low? Because the cases that are being filed by the police under this act are not standing the scrutiny of judiciary in the courts, due to which the conviction rate is very low. Fina? Okay, it has a special law. Now, it is a special law for investigation of terrorist activities. It was amended in 2019. Okay, it was prior to 2019. It was amended in 2004. The right of investigation under the said act lies with both central and state governments. First of all, there's a very important point. Why? Because police and law and order, okay, police and law and order are subjects of state. Okay, but this is a central legislation. तो हम यहाँ पे क्या ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं? एक फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर पे there is a kind of tension in this federal structure. ठीक है? A friction is being created because this is a central law that is entering into the domain of state governments, because police and law and order, the investigation of criminal activities primarily lies into the state's domain. ठीक है? तो one can ask as to why CBI is also then an attack on the federal structure. Of course it is, because CBI was established through Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Okay, it was a CBI, but there's a catch that for CBI to investigate cases, CBI needs to take permission from the state governments. Okay, either it is a general consent or it is specified consent in every case. If there's a criminal, if there's a case, CBI was originally made to investigate the cases of corruption in the central government. The original aim of CBI was the investigation of corruption cases in the central government. Okay, but as the time passed, CBI became the specialized agency of investigation. Why? Because the officers in the CBI were getting the higher level of training as compared to the other governments, and there was the trust factor in CBI was higher as compared to the other state government investigating agencies like CID or CBCID. Okay, due to which the CBI subsequently got powerful and more powerful. But whenever a criminal case is there, okay, for example, there's a case that has happened, there's a criminal case that has happened in UP, and if the CBI wants to investigate that case, CBI will have to seek permission from the UP government. And then if otherwise, if there is a general consent that has been granted to the CBI, there are two kinds of consent that the states grant to CBI. That is, the first is generalized consent, and the second is specified consent. In general consent, a broader consent is granted. That means CBI can investigate any case within 1 year time frame when the state government has granted its general consent. Otherwise, if the state government has not granted its general consent, then the CBI will seek what? Specified consent for every case that it is going to investigate. Okay. So, understood why the last point is very important? Because the right of investigation is with both the state and central government. So we are going to talk about why the conviction rate is very low. The cases are on the rise under UAP 1967, and what are the amendments that were made in 2019 that have made this act more draconian in the sense that the people or the activists are saying that this law is trying to curb the dissent. Okay, and the right of dissent is a fundamental right under the democracy, under the fundamental right of freedom of speech. Okay, so declaration of terrorist under 2004 amendment. Okay, this amendment was made in 2004. Okay, central government can declare any organization as a terrorist organization. Fine. One important thing is, this is a central law, and hence the power of declaring someone or some organization, some association as terrorist association or terrorist organization lies with the central government. Okay. But under the amendment of 2019, okay, under the amendment of 2019, central government can not only declare any organization as terrorist organization, but also any individual as a terrorist individual. Okay, earlier it was only for organizations or associations to be declared as terrorist. But now what has happened is, now the government can also declare or designate any individual as a terrorist individual. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे इशू क्या है? इशू ये है कि whenever an individual is declared a terrorist without the judicial intervention, it violates the principle of what? uh, of innocent until proven guilty. But by a notification of central government, if an individual or an organization is declared terrorist, he will be declared terrorist without any judicial intervention. Fine, but we will see there is a specification that tries to bypass this, or that tries to somehow touch this aspect of innocent until proven guilty by establishing a tribunal. We will see later in the lecture, okay, how it goes. But as you can see, now the government is empowered to declare any individual as a terrorist also. The second one is acts committed under treaties listed under the schedule of the act. The second schedule of this act contains there are three schedules of this act. The first schedule of the act contains the names of the organizations that are declared what? Terrorist organizations, like लश्कर-ए-तैयबा, जैश-ए-मोहम्मद, खालसा. ठीक है, तो ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का नाम इसके शेड्यूल फर्स्ट में लिखा हुआ है, एंड दीज आर टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. ठीक है, शेड्यूल लिस्ट 9 ट्रीटीज. सेकंड शेड्यूल में ट्रीटीज और कन्वेंशंस, इंटरनेशनल ट्रीटीज एंड इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशंस लिखे हुए हैं. उन ट्रीटीज और कन्वेंशन के अंदर में कोई भी क्राइम अगर होता है तो दिस एक्ट विल बी empowered टू डील विद दैट क्राइम. ठीक है, द सेकंड शेड्यूल लिस्ट्स 9 treaties and includes convention against taking hostages, hijackings, bombings. ओके, ये सारे कन्वेंशंस, जितने भी इंटरनेशनल कन्वेंशंस हैं वो सारे इसमें लिखे हुए हैं. नाउ 2019 के अमेंडमेंट के बाद एन अनदर कन्वेंशन वाज एडेड, व्हिच वाज कन्वेंशन अगेंस्ट द सप्रेशन ऑफ एक्ट्स ऑफ न्यूक्लियर टेरर. ठीक है, नाउ this new convention has been added. Fine, that broadens the scope of the act because nuclear terrorism has now also been included in the act. The third one is approval of seizure by the property by NIA. NIA is National Investigation Agency. NIA was established in 2009 through NIA Act 2008. Okay, after the Mumbai attacks, okay, National Investigation Agency it is a specialized agency for investigation of terror. Okay, now what happens is the investigating officer is required to take prior permission of the Director General of Police of the state if there is a case where the crime leads to the seizure of property. Okay, for example, some financial fraud that was involved in terror financing. If a person or an association was involved in terror financing and the enforcement directorate wants to seize its property, then they will have to go to the Director General of Police. The Director General of Police is one person for the whole state, and for that purpose they will have to go to the state's DGP. You can see that there was a mechanism that made it compulsory to consult the states. ठीक है, but now what has the amendment that was brought in 2019 talks about the fact that when the investigation is being carried about by NIA. ठीक है, तो जब इन्वेस्टिगेशन NIA कर रहा है उस केस में NIA को परमिशन DGP की लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. स्टेट के DGP की बजाय NIA का जो डायरेक्टर जनरल है उससे परमिशन लेने की जरूरत है. तो यहाँ पे जो सेंटर को स्टेट के DGP से परमिशन लेनी होती थी, दैट हैज बीन बाईपास्ड. और अब क्या है, अब इसका कॉन्सिक्वेंस क्या है? व्हाट इज द कॉन्सिक्वेंस? द फर्स्ट कॉन्सिक्वेंस एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वन इज and more cases are going to be investigated by NIA now. Okay, why? Because this clause provides an escape for the central government from the permission of the state. Earlier, the investigating agency, for example CBI or ED, will have to go to DGP of the state. For example, there a crime leads to seizure of property in UP, for example, तो एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट या सीबीआई जो भी इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी है उस क्राइम की, उसको यूपी के डीजीपी से बात करनी होगी, so that the seizure of the property can be facilitated. But the 2019 amendment made it bypass the Director General of Police and thus the state, because Director General of Police is under the state government. ठीक है, तो बेसिकली डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ पुलिस को बाईपास करके हमने स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को बाईपास कर दिया, और अब ये कह दिया कि अगर कोई केस एनआईए इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही हो, ठीक है, सीबीआई और ईडी के केस में तो यही प्रोसेस रहेगा, बट इफ एन एडिशन हैज बीन मेड कि इफ द इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज बीइंग carried out by NIA, then there will be no need to take permission from the Director General of Police of the state, but from the permission of द डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ नेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी. यानी एनआईए के डायरेक्टर जनरल की परमिशन लेने की जरूरत है, डायरेक्टर जनरल ऑफ पुलिस ऑफ स्टेट की परमिशन की जरूरत नहीं है. नाउ रैंक ऑफ आईओ, इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर नीड्स टू बी द अबव और एटलीस्ट बिलो एटलीस्ट द रैंक ऑफ डीएसपी, डेप्यूटी सुपरिटेंडेंट ऑफ पुलिस, और एसीपी, असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर ऑफ पुलिस. मतलब यूएपीए के अगर किसी क्राइम का इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है तो वो इन्वेस्टिगेशन, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर सीआईडी कर रहे अगर सीबीआई कर रही है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में, तो सीबीआई में वही ऑफिसर इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकते हैं जिनकी रैंक डीएसपी या एसीपी के बराबर है या इनसे ज्यादा है. ओके, बट एनआईए एक्ट में इसके एडिशन में एक प्रोविजन एक्ट 2019 में यूएपीए में, इन एडिशन टू दिस प्रोविजन a provision was added. You can see that these two provisions are nothing but empowering provisions for NIA. Okay, so that more of the cases can now be transferred from the CBI or ED and all these agencies to NIA, because NIA is a specialized agency for the investigation of terror related crimes. Okay, और NIA पे एक lecture है, you can search by the name of NIA Tarun IAS. You will find that or you can find that in the playlist as well. In addition to the existing guidelines, what has happened is that the rank of the investigating officer now has to be the rank of inspector. Okay, inspector, फिर DSP, फिर उसके ऊपर ACP, फिर सुपरिटेंडेंट ऑफ पुलिस या SP. ये क्राइटेरिया होता है. Now what has been made, अगर एनआईए इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रही है तो एनआईए का कोई ऑफिसर जो कि इंस्पेक्टर रैंक का है वो भी इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकता है. ओके, दैट मींस दीज टू प्रोविजंस आर मेकिंग इट कंड्यूसिव or making it easy for the government or NIA to investigate. Why? First one, dilution of the rank of IO. The second one is bypassing the state when investigation is being done by NIA. Okay, तो ये चारों amendments हुए. These are very important क्योंकि this is also not only in the sense that it is curb on dissent, right of dissent, but also it is an attack on the federal structure of the constitution, and federal structure of the constitution is the basic feature of the constitution as determined by the Supreme Court. Okay, now applicability of the law, it is applicable to the whole of India, plus it is applicable to all persons in India, not only citizens. If there's a foreigner residing in India and he is committing crime that are listed in the schedule 2nd of this act, okay, schedule 2, okay, schedule 2 mentions conventions or crimes. The second schedule mentions the conventions, international conventions for dealing with crime or criminal activities or terror activities or the crimes that are to be covered by this act UAPA 1967. मतलब अगर सेकंड शेड्यूल में आप जाके देखोगे इस एक्ट के, तो आपको कौन कौन से क्राइम इस एक्ट की कवरेज में आते हैं वो पता चल जाएगा, और कौन कौन से कन्वेंशंस इस एक्ट की कवरेज में आते हैं वो आपको पता चल जाएगा। शेड्यूल 1 में क्या है, उन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के नाम हैं जो कि डिक्लेयर्ड है इलीगल या टेररिस्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस। एंड शेड्यूल 3 में क्या है, शेड्यूल 3 में बहुत छोटी सी चीज मेंशन्ड है कि काउंटरफिट मनी को इन्वेस्टिगेट करने के लिए क्या प्रोसीजर या क्या स्टैंडर्ड्स यूज करने चाहिए इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी द्वारा, वो शेड्यूल 3 में मेंशन्ड है, बट दैट इज नॉट रेलेवेंट फ्रॉम आवर एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, बट स्टिल आई टोल्ड यू फॉर द सेक ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. Okay, now applicable to the whole of India, applicable to Indian citizens and foreigners as well. That means not only citizens but persons residing in India. Moreover, it is applicable to citizens of India outside India. If a citizen of India residing outside of India is committing any crime that is being covered under the UAPA 1967, he can be charged or tried under UAPA 1967. Okay, for example, if some criminal commits a crime and flies away and goes to UK or USA or Canada, in that case also he can be tried under the UAPA 1967. इसका एग्जाम्पल ये है, जैसे कोई सेसेशनिस्ट मूवमेंट चल रहा है फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन कश्मीर, ओके, एंड if that person commits some crime in India and he goes to UK or Canada and he seeks a political asylum there, okay, still the Indian government, unless he becomes a citizen of Canada, the Indian government can try him under UAPA 1967. The fourth is persons employed in the government of India or the service of government of India. Okay, if that means all the government employees and all the government officers and all the government servants are covered under the UAPA 1967. Any act committed outside the India, and if that act is covered under the schedule 2 of this act, then Indian police or Indian government or Indian investigating agency can also try that crime within India. For example, अगर USA में कोई बॉम्बिंग होती है तो इंडियन गवर्नमेंट चाहे तो यूएपीए इन्वोक करके उस बॉम्बिंग को इन्वेस्टिगेट कर सकती है. ऑफ कोर्स दैट विल बी लाइक, it will not be in interest of country because it will take a lot of financial burden, but it empowers our own investigating agencies to investigate crimes, such crimes. For example, अब इस क्लॉज को ऐड करने का मेन रीजन क्या हो सकता है कि अगर किसी इंडियन एम्बेसी में फॉर एग्जांपल बाहर दूसरी कंट्री में अगर कोई क्राइम होता है तो कौन सा लॉ एम्पावर करे इंडिया की इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसीज को उस क्राइम को इन्वेस्टिगेट करने के लिए. ओके, अंडरस्टूड. बिकॉज इंडियन एम्बेसीज में इंडियन राइट्स प्रोटेक्टेड है, इंडियन सिटीजन्स और रेजिडेंट्स रहते हैं, तो इंडिया शुड हैव सम काइंड ऑफ ज्यूरिसडिक्शन ओवर दैट. तो वो ज्यूरिसडिक्शन क्लेम करने के लिए दिस फिफ्थ क्लॉज इज इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, नाउ the declaration of terrorist organizations or individuals. What is the process of declaration of terrorist organizations or individuals? The first one is, the first, central government declares, that is central government declares that the certain kind individual or certain organization is terrorist organization आज से. ठीक है, तो जिस दिन डिक्लेयर होता है from the day of the declaration, ठीक है, from the day of the declaration of the individual or the organization is terrorist, 30 days का टाइम दिया जाता है किसको, एक ट्रिब्यूनल को. there is a tribunal, it will be headed by a retired high court judge or any person who has been a high court judge or supreme court judge, whatever. ठीक है, तो ये ट्रिब्यूनल will take 30 days time. First of all, on X date an organization or individual is declared a terrorist organization or terrorist individual. After that, within 30 days, there is a time frame of 30 days. Within 30 days, the case will be referred to this tribunal, and this tribunal will summon the organization or the individual that has been declared terrorist to ask that organization or individual as to why they should not be declared terrorist. And if the tribunal is satisfied, that organization or individual qualifies for being declared as a terrorist, they will certify, and then within 6 months, the maximum time frame for this tribunal to decide is 6 months. Within 6 months, this tribunal will make a decision as to the organization or individual should be declared terrorist or not. And if this tribunal makes the decision that the individual should be declared terrorist, the government declares him the terrorist. That is, the organization or individual would not be declared terrorist until this tribunal certifies. That is important thing. The thing I was talking about in the first slide, कि innocent until proven guilty. So to prove the innocence, there is a tribunal, and the tribunal will summon that person, the one who has been, or the organization or the people representing the organization, to present themselves before the tribunal to prove their innocence. And if they fail to prove their innocence, they will be declared terrorist organizations. So there is one there's a clause that determines the innocence or determines the criminality of organization or individual. So the claim that innocent until proven is being bypassed by the act is not completely true. Why not completely true? Because once an organization or an individual has been declared or a terrorist organization or terrorist individual, they find it very hard to present themselves in physical presence to the tribunal to prove their innocence. Okay. Understood? Now, federal structure is also being hampered. This one is very important from our exam point of view. From our aspect, federal structure is a basic feature of Constitution. And NIA Act 2008 also empowers the NIA in the NIA section 45 to this section of NIA Act empowers the National Investigating Agency to investigate crimes of terror. Okay, to investigate crimes of terror, but there is no consent clause. Like for CBI to investigate these crimes of terror, they will have to take the consent of the state government. But in NIA Act, ठीक है, NIA Act क्या करता है? NIA Act empower करता है NIA को, National Investigating Agency को, to investigate the crimes that are being covered under the UAPA 1967. ठीक है, तो delegation of authority, but there is no consent clause as like opposed to the CBI. CBI को हमेशा state government से consent लेना पड़ता है investigation करने के लिए. But CBI can take the offenses under UAPA. CBI can also take, but CBI will always have to take the consent. Either it is generalized or it is a specified consent. Now, only central government can notify or denotify an organization or an individual as a terrorist organization or terrorist individual. But the law and order and police, public order and police, all these are the state subjects. Okay, but CPC, Criminal Procedure Code, and IPC, these amending both of them is under the concurrent list. It is very important that amendment of CRPC and IPC is under the concurrent list, but law and order and police is under the state list. Police and public order are state subjects. So you can see there is an attack on, there is an encroachment, I would say rather, ठीक है, क्योंकि the central government is encroaching into the domain of state government. उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, जो फेडरल ढांचा हमारा संघीय ढांचा है, जो फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है कंट्री का, that gets attacked. Okay,